Good morning.
And again, welcome to Interfaith Spiritual Center Worldwide, where we believe there is a power in the universe greater than we are, and we are using it every day of our lives. And that nothing happens by chance. We're all here by divine appointment. If you tuned in at this moment, this message is for you. You're not here in our beautiful community, so you missed the We Are the World by our beautiful Prince Fleet Easton, the Prince of Palm Springs. And it always moves me so deeply. We are the world. We are the children. And when we understand that oneness on this World AIDS Day, that as our humanness gives way to the divine, there is something that arises triumphant and victorious within us. And when I read that 36.5 million people have passed of the AIDS virus, that we make a call here today for the healing, and I was sharing prior that a healing moves beyond a cure. A cure is physical. A healing is spirit, mind, and body. There is a deep, deep connection that moves beyond color, race, creed, and sexual orientation. Our God is a God of oneness. Our God is all-inclusive. And when we understand that, and then open our heart to compassion for the human condition, for each and every one of us have feet of clay. And we all have experienced dis-ease and suffering on some level in our lives. And so on this World AIDS Day, where we acknowledge our theme, the spirit of life, that the spirit of life lives and moves and has its being at the center of our beingness. And yes, I could not find I have a beautiful, it's a ribbon, and it's for World AIDS Day, and it looks like rubies, of course. So I said, I'll be the ribbon today. And you saw my shoes that were given to me. Someone actually took these shoes off and gave them to me because she said they were uncomfortable for her, but she broke them in for me. So I want you to know, these shoes, I'm a friend of Dorothy's, okay? I am a friend of Dorothy's. And so on this day, right, we are acknowledging all the friends of Dorothy, and that we are in a land of Oz. And what we discovered is the little chubby man behind the curtain. Wonderful that we could embody that we are that wizard behind the curtain, and that we don't give our power away to anything outside of us, but we do call upon the collective consciousness of our planet. And when we call upon the collective consciousness of our planet in the spirit of life, in the recognition that we are one in this oneness, do we live, and I mean live our lives to the fullest. Sometimes we're laughing, we're weeping, we're gnashing our teeth, we're doing applause because we're moved at the moment. This is all part of the spirit of life that lives within us, so that we can embrace something even higher in our lives. I love the ancient legend of it's an ancient Chinese legend where a woman lost her son. He died. And so she went to the village holy man and she said, can you give me some incantation? Can you give me a prayer to bring back the life of my son? Now, he did not try to talk her out of it. He did not try to say, that's beyond my realm. He just said, yes. I want you to go and bring me a magic mustard seed. And this magic mustard seed must come from someone who has never experienced suffering. And so she was on a quest. And she said, I will do that. And she saw a great mansion. She knocked on the door. And she said, oh, tell me, have you ever experienced suffering? Or are you a household that has experienced joy all of your lives? And they said, oh no, so much suffering has befallen us. And they began to tell her of all the horrendous things that had occurred in their own lives. And she thought, oh, I too know what suffering is. And she went in and comforted them, listened to their stories. And she went about her quest. And she knocked on another door. And she said, tell me, have you always experienced joy in your lives and no suffering? And they said, oh no, we've experienced great suffering, and began to tell her of what had befallen them. And she listened intently and thought, oh yes, and I have experienced great suffering, and went in and listened to each one and comforted them in their sorrow and suffering. And this went on for several days until she lost the grief of her son's death, because she gave herself over to a purpose larger than herself. She became the magic mustard seed and realized that through listening to others, comforting others, having compassion for others, her own pain absorbed into the light of her beingness. And that magic mustard seed lives within each and every one of us. The moment we move through our own grief, the moment we move through our own suffering, the moment we move through feeling at the effect of life that we're a victim. And I know what it is to be a martyr. I was very good at it. You know, finally someone said, get off the cross, we need the wood. You know, it was like, wait a minute here. So we learn and we grow in this way of life, and this is why I love our way of life, is that you give a man bread, you feed him for a day. You teach him how to plant, you feed him for a lifetime. This is the bread of life. We cast it on the living waters. It comes back pressed down, shaken together, and flowing over into every area of our life. Because in that oneness do we live and move and have our being. And that we embody something larger than ourselves. So in knocking at the door, have you always experienced joy? No. We're all part of the human condition. We've experienced dis-ease and the pain of life. And discover wherever pain seems to be operating, the presence of God is. Wherever dis-ease seems to be operating, the presence of God is. Wherever anything unlike the energy of spirit seems to be operating, the presence of God is. God in us, God as us. God is the only truth of us. And I feel very comfortable with the word God. I have no negative projection on that word. But if you do, just know that there is a power for good in the universe. It's a higher power, and it doesn't matter what we call it. And when we feel that creator energy and that we can co-create with it, something begins to happen. And there is an opening, a portal that opens that we walk through. And I love that. Remember when Dorothy, she found that land of Oz, there was a portal that opened for her because she had suddenly eyes to see. And when there was a school teacher, and he asked his class, what are the 7 wonders of the world? And they were busily working, and they were writing down the Panama Canal, and the Great Pyramids, and the Taj Mahal, and the Grand Canyons, and the Wall of China, all the amazing 7 wonders of the world. And then one little girl, she was just working and working and working, and the teacher said, well, dear, do you have it finished yet? And she goes, there's so many. I'm just, trying to get them down. She said, well, perhaps if you share them with us, we'll be able to help you. And she said, well, to see, to hear, to feel, to taste, to laugh, and love. And there was not a sound in that little classroom. You could hear a pin drop because it moved beyond hands and what could be built by man to the expression of God. To see, to hear, to taste, oh yes, to feel, to laugh, to love. All of that are the 7 wonders of the world that we experience every day, not to be taken for granted, but to feel the opening of life, doing what life does best by means of us, because we are the wonder of the world. And to give gratitude. We had this week of giving gratitude on Thanksgiving Day. I had my beautiful friends, Marion Van Dam, who came from Amsterdam, on Monday night with her lovely daughter, Olivia. they had never experienced an American Thanksgiving. Well, I said, I am a vegetarian, so my Thanksgiving is a little bit different than what the average Thanksgiving is, because there was a picture of Tom Turkey, and he said, have a happy Thanksgiving, and you open the card, it says, over my dead body, right? So I said, I don't eat anything with a face on it, but we'll have a wonderful Thanksgiving. So we made everything with all the trimmings, her daughter assisted, and then I have a neighbor, and his mother makes tamales. And so I want those wonderful chili tamales, but I didn't specify that they weren't to be jalapeno chilies, and they were, and it was a moment of, oh my God. Okay, I didn't specify here, okay. So I said, let's just put cranberries in with it, that'll cut the hot. And so we just had a wonderful time. And when I was in Amsterdam, I was speaking at the National Peace Monument in Amsterdam and the Netherlands, and Marion did the filming, and she had a master's in photography. And she proceeded to write a book called Happily Ever After, which went on the international bestsellers list. And she is doing just wonderful. She's my daughter's age, and so I call her my fairy goddaughter, and doing wonderful things on the planet out of her pain of a very painful divorce. And with 3 children under the age of 10, and a multi-million-dollar husband that cut her off of all money. And so she had to really learn to fend for herself and to trust the universe, and began to do that. So everyone, we all have a story. We all have a journey. And it's the journey that brings us to the altar, the spirit of life, so that I can heal myself and serve others out of that. And in serving others, the magic mustard seed, it's right where we are within us. Out of serving others, out of our own pain. What is our pain but the breaking of the shell that encloses our understanding? Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. I will give you love. I will give you peace. I will give you enlightenment. Come unto me, to that secret place of the Most High. Pray to your Father, Mother, God in secret, and know that you are acknowledged openly by the outward demonstrations of your life. Come unto the Christ consciousness, the holy Buddha nature, the I am presence. Come unto me. Go within and feel that there's always that beauty within us. There is always a minister in the house. There is always a priest in the house. There is always a doctor in the house. There is always a loved one in the house. There is always that energy in the house. And I love the story, and I want to just complete with this. I love it. It's about a military family. I used to live in Coronado, as you know, and raise my daughter there. And I heard about this family that was transferred and they couldn't find housing. And the captain felt so badly that he went to the little motel where they were all staying, all 5 kids and parents. And the little 3-year-old, she jumped on his lap and she was, saying hi, and she was greeting him. And he said, honey, I'm just so sorry that we can't find a house for you and that you don't have a house. Oh my God, he said, I'm just so sorry about that. I mean, you need a home. And there is no home. And I'm just so sorry. We're going to keep looking for it. We're just so sorry you don't have a home. She said, oh, we have a home. We just don't have a house to put it in. Because that home is within us, right? And we need a house to put it in, but that's just secondary from the home that lives and moves and has its being at the center of our one life, which is God's life, which is our life. So being a friend of Dorothy, and someone told me, when we were doing our community song, that he's the son of Dorothy. Okay, very good. All right, dear. And so we are acknowledging and calling the healing for World AIDS Day. And I invite each and every one of you, we put an event on Facebook between 6 p.m. and 7. Let's do a world meditation on the healing of the AIDS virus. Let's be so absolutely out there that we are taking a stand We are not fighting the AIDS virus. It's a cause that we're calling in the energy of healing. And to see every person experiencing through this and coming out on the other side, because the light at the end of the tunnel is within us. So we're calling. We're making this audacious claim. We're calling in the healing of the AIDS virus. And as we do that, this energy goes before us and prepares the way and moves in waves of light and healing. So on this day, we're all going somewhere. Where is it? Higher yet. Where is it? Higher yet. Where is it? Higher yet. Because we are in a high place and we will not come down. None of these outer things move us because we are in a high place and we will not come down. I say to you, Namaste. The divinity within me salutes the divinity within you, and the divinity within you salutes the divinity within me. And if I am in that place in me, and you are in that place in you, there is only one of us. Namaste, Shalom, the peace that passes all understanding. And during the spirit of Christmas, God bless us, everyone. Thank you, Tiny Tim, for that. And so it is. I love you. God bless you. And we are moving higher and